G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we will learn how to make this easy spiral scarf. You can have a striped scarf with no joining ends. You don't need to change colour every single row because this is worked in a round. That is why the spiral is so awesome. There is a free written pattern located on my website. I will put the link that you need for that in the description box. The scarf is rounded off at each end. Oh, and I think this will look so cute with pom-poms attached to the end. I didn't think of that. I have ordered a pom-pom maker, so I'm waiting for it to arrive. And I'm sure this will get pom-poms added to it. The spiral is worked on the scarf. You start at one end, and then you finish at the other. There's no sewing in any ends because you just poke them through to the other side. Because it's a tube, no one is going to see your ends. You will need you will need 4 balls of 2 colours. I've used 100-gram balls for this project. This is 8 ply or double knit yarn. They are about 100 grams each, so I use 400 grams in total, and that's 200 grams of each colour. I love this scarf because it is striped and it also doesn't need any ends to sew in. The yarn that I've used in this project is from redheart.com. The darker blue one that you can see there is Red Heart Shimmer. And the other yarn is a Stylecraft and it's the exact same weight yarn. So let's get started on the lesson. For our supplies, we're going to need a pair of scissors, a yarn needle with a large eye, a crochet hook to go with your yarn. I'm using a 4.5mm or a US size 7 crochet hook. And I'm using double knit or 8 ply yarn. I will be using Red Heart Shimmer. This is a bright royal blue. It is colour number 10. And this recommends a 4mm crochet hook. And I'm also going to be using some double knit Stylecraft. And this is an acrylic as well. And where is it? It also recommends a 4mm crochet hook. So you'll know that both these yarns will go together because they recommend the same size crochet hook. And this is the colour Petrol or 1708. So I'd recommend a crochet hook that is indicated on your yarn label. We are also going to need stitch markers. You can use any one that you like. I've just got these clip sort of padlocky looking ones. You're going to need 2. You can get away with just using 1, but if you put your project down you will need to secure both loops, otherwise if they come out you will lose where you're up to, and it is sometimes hard to figure out where you are if you're doing increasing. So I'll pop those aside. What we want to do is grab any of our yarn, doesn't matter which colour that you grab. In this scarf the spiral is equal all the way around. And we're going to start with a magic ring. There's a lot of different ways to do magic rings. Just try and remember how I do it, there we go. So I just make a loop with my yarn. And I pick my yarn up and I just grab those 2 pieces there. Get your crochet hook, it's going to zoom in a bit. Grab your yarn, pull it through the loop, and then just do a chain to secure. So what we need to do, single crochet into the loop, and I just like to hold the loop with my thumb and finger and it just holds it in place. I'm going to single crochet into the loop, I'm going to work a half double crochet into the loop. Then we're going to work 4 double crochet into the loop. And we should have a total of 6 stitches altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we want to grab our stitch marker then we're going to grab the other colour. We want to join it into the ring, and still working over both of those tails, I'm going to join our colour in here. And once you've got it in there, you just want to make sure that where it's joined is just up next to the other stitches, so just pull it around. We're going to do a single crochet into the middle. We're going to work a half double crochet into the middle, and then 4 double crochet. That should be 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we can pull the first yarn that we use, the first colour, and that's pulling our magic loop closed, and that will close up the hole that's here. So at the moment it's kind of all yarns everywhere, but it does get easier. As we go around, it spaces out a lot more. So what you want to do now is grab this stitch marker and put it into that one there. So this is colour A, and the darker blue is the colour B. So with colour A, what we're going to do is work 2 double crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. So the first one we work into is a single crochet that we did there. So we're going to work 2 double crochet into there, and into each stitch of colour B. So into our last stitch there, just want to make sure you've got all your strands of yarn out of the way. Don't want to be crocheting over those. And now we want to grab our stitch marker. So the second stitch marker that I said you'll need is really only if you're putting your work down. If you've only got one stitch marker, you can actually put both loops like that onto your stitch marker. That would also work. So picking up colour B, we want to work an increase into the next 6 stitches around. So going to our first stitch, which is the single crochet, I'm going to work into there. So we're going to work 2 double crochet, I'm going to do 6 times. So that's our second time. It's our third. Fourth. Fifth. And 6th. And what you'll notice as we go around is when we finish one of our colours, it's normally the second colour, that it finishes opposite the other one. So now we want to put our stitch marker into colour B, pick up colour A, depending what yarn you're using, you may have chose a thicker weight yarn, a 10 ply or a worsted weight. It would depend on how many increase rounds that you want and how wide you want your scarf. So now what we want to do is we're going to work 1 double crochet and 1 increase, which is 2 double crochet in the same spot, and we're going to repeat that 6 times. So 1, then 2 in the next. 1 and then 2 in the next. And what it will do is when we've finished our 6 repeats, it'll end over here. And if it doesn't, we've done something wrong. So into that last stitch there, we're going to work 2 double crochet. Swap our stitch markers over. So pick up colour B. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to repeat that 6 times. So work 1 double crochet in the next stitch and 2 into the next. So we're going to repeat that 6 times. So at the moment, you're going to feel like everything's just all bits of yarn everywhere. And until you get into it a little bit, it gets a little bit bigger. That's exactly how it feels. Okay, so we've got... So what I do is I look back and I count the increases because I know that was the end of our repeat. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4. 5. And 6. Excuse me. 6. And again, you'll notice that our yarn should finish opposite each other. You have like this invisible line going down where your yarn finishes. Alright, so taking our stitch marker out and putting it into the other colour. Picking up colour A. We're onto our next round of increase. And see how now we've got this, it ends over here, we've got this round and it ends over there. Our 6 repeats will take us right around to that last stitch around on here. So this repeat is 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches and 2 double crochet in the next. So you've got 1, 1 and then 2. So I'm going to repeat this 6 times. And then we're going to work 2 into the last one. And you'll always finish on that increase, and if you don't, like I said, something's not right. So let's go back. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So again, swapping over your stitch marker. And you want to do exactly the same thing with colour B. So I'm going to do that off screen, and you just so it's repeating 1 double crochet into the next 2 and then increase into the next one. What we just did on that other side, we're going to repeat that around. I'm going to repeat it 6 times. So this is how many increased rounds I did for my scarf, and this is using the 8-ply and double knit. If you've used worsted weight or 10-ply, it's going to be a lot larger, but I'll just measure mine so you can see how big it is. So it's about 11 centimetres across, or about 4.5 inches. This will get slightly wider when we add our next round, but if you wanted to do more increasing, and this does work for a hat, and I do also have a matching hat pattern to go with this, and the links for that are in the description box. So to make the sides of the scarf, so this is going to be the straight section of the scarf, what we need to do now is not do any more increasing. So we've just done that blue, so we're going to swap. In fact, it doesn't really matter what colour you choose, so I'll just leave that there. So I just did 1, 2, 1, 2. I've walked away from the camera and come back, so I'm just making sure I've done all the proper increasing. Yes, I have. So now what we're going to do, oops, put that stitch back in. Now what we're going to do, we're going to just double crochet all the way until we get to the stitch marker. So it's no more increasing, just 1 double crochet in every stitch around. And what you'll see happening is it'll start to curl up on the sides because there's no increasing, and that's what it will start to do. So the side that's looking at us is actually the outside of our scarf. So what you would do now is swap your stitch marker over, and then we will do exactly the same thing with the other colour. And you just keep crocheting as many rounds as you want to do for the length of your scarf. So in the next video clip you'll see how much more and how long my scarf is. So as you can see, I've finished the length of my scarf. I just need to do the decreasing on the end. And my scarf is 55 inches or about 140 centimetres long. And it is also 15 centimetres or about 6 inches wide. So now we need to get onto the decreasing on the end. And just to let you know, I crocheted until I had 51 of the sparkly blue round. I've just counted the stripes and I have 51 of just the sparkly stripes. So I don't know if that's 51 rows or if that's 102. Because I think it's 51 because we have one on each side. I don't know, but I've just continued on until the darker blue has 51 stripes. So once we have our lengths, we've got our yarn and it will be on opposite sides of the scarf. What we want to do now is work on our decreasing. We're going to look at our scarf and see if you don't remember, you can have a look and see what the last round of increasing was. So I can see an increased stitch there. There's 2, and there's 1, 1, and then 2. And I know that my last round of increasing was 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches and then an increase. So on our decrease round, pick up colour A, we are going to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and if you had a different amount of stitches in between your increases, you will start with that. So if you did 1 double crochet in the next 3 on your last round of increase, and then, so that doesn't make sense. If you did 3 stitches in between your increases, you're going to do 3 stitches when we're working this end, and then do a decrease. So you're going to repeat the last round of increase that you did, but we're just doing decreasing instead of increasing. So going into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3. Into the next 2 stitches, we're going to work 1 double crochet, then we're going to work a decrease. And remembering, if you did a different amount of stitches in between your increases, you're going to do that instead of what I'm doing. So 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then decrease in the next. I'm going to repeat this around until we've done it 6 times. So you would have ended on a decrease. You're going to pick up your other colour and you're going to repeat what we just did. So 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, or whatever amount you need to do, and a decrease over the next 2 stitches. Repeat this around until you've done it 6 times. For our next lot of decreasing, you're going to work 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and if you worked a different amount of double crochets between your increasing than what I did, you're just going to do 1 less double crochet than what you did on your previous round. So on the previous round, I've got 2 in between my decreases. So if you had 3 in here, this round that you're doing now will be 2. So it's just 1 less than what you did before. So I've got that one, and then so the next one is a decrease. So it's worked over the next 2 stitches. 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then a decrease. And we're going to repeat this 6 times. So we've just done it twice. We're going to repeat it 6 times. After you've done colour A, you want to repeat it the same thing with colour B. So as we go around, the hole is getting smaller. So we'll get a little fiddly, but it won't be too bad. We can do it. So I've done that one. So we want to go back to colour A. And now, because we've just worked 1 double crochet in between our increases, I'm just going to do that one again, it's really loose. Because we had 1 stitch in between our decreases, now we're just going to have a decrease and no double crochets in between. So that's just decrease and again in the next stitch. Repeat this around until you've done it 6 times. And we want to repeat the same, you probably already know this, but you're going to repeat the same with colour B, which is a decrease in every stitch. And then repeat that 6 times. So now we have this hole. You're probably wondering, how do we get that closed? Well, easy. Remember how so what we're going to do is work a double crochet into the next 4 stitches. This is where it gets a bit tricky. And you're going to work a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next. And then we can finish off. We want to leave a reasonably long tail because we need to sew it together. So chop that off. Oops. There you go. Just pull that through. And you're going to repeat the same for the other colour. So what we're going to do now is grab your colour and we're going to thread it through the stitches, but we need to gather this section, so this one's working backwards, that's alright. We're just going to weave it in and out of the same colour stitches that the thread is. And then we're going to repeat the same for the other side. So I'll just do that off camera. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull, you've still got this hole here, so we're going to pull the threads. And then we just need to kind of sew that shut. So you want to sort of lay it flat. Make sure that's pulled tight. It should close up pretty small when you pull your yarn tight. I'm just going to stitch that to there. Yours may not do that, but mine's just got a slight gap. So I just want to close it up. And the beauty with this project, you don't have to sew in any ends. You just poke it inside and then pull it out quite a way down. Scissors, there we go. Cut that off. And then when you pull the bit, it'll just go inside and it disappears. How awesome is that? And the ones when we change colour, added new yarn in, they're on the inside as well. If they're not, just poke them through with a crochet hook or a needle, and you don't have to sew those ones in either. So I'm just picking up the dark blue and then just one little stitch on the teal. And that's actually closed now. So I can just finish that off. And then again, poke your crochet hook through as close as you can to the thread. And then pushing it through, coming out there. Doesn't matter where you come out as long as it's right down. And then because if you pull it back up, I need to trim it a bit. Disappears and that's it. And then we've got our spiral on the other end. I think that looks really good. And considering we decreased here, that spiral looks really good. Even if I do say so myself. So I love this sparkle. So I really hope you enjoyed that video. It was a lot of fun, especially if you've worked with some sparkly yarn. Please share your creation on our Facebook page. All the links that you need are in the description box. There is a free written pattern for this, again located on my website. All the links that you need and anything discussed in this video is in the description box. Make sure you subscribe, as always videos coming out. We have 2 tutorials a week. So that's awesome fun. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crochet.